Hello everyone, my name is Alexander, and in this video we're going to be looking at the new device adder functionality that came to e-NABLE Hub in January 2022. Really excited to show you how this works, as it's been my project for the past 5 months and we're currently rolling it out. The video will be split in 3 parts. Part 1, how the system works, Part 2, how the community can help, and Part 3, how the admin work is done. Part 1, how the system works. We have the community building various devices outside, and we want to bring those devices back onto the hub so that we can share and more people can use them. Now, the community, or somebody, let's say a creator, can come and find our e-NABLE device adder form, which is filled with a number of questions. And you don't have to fill particularly every single question, just the ones marked with red. It is understandable for the creators that are not actual engineers to not be able to complete every single part of this. Do not worry, those will get filled out later. The system then takes this form and automatically transforms it into a massive spreadsheet, which then in turn, after an admin's approval, gets turned into an imported page through this software, and then becomes a real page on the e-NABLE hub. How the community can help. For the community, there are 2 ways in which you can help e-NABLE as an ecosystem. You can either add new devices. As I've said, you can just find this form. This is completely public and we are waiting for your devices. Or you can help us by figuring out the unknowns of the devices that we already have in our library. So for example, for Nick's prosthetic finger in this case, we don't know how many parts need to be printed. On our more recent pages, all of the unknowns are marked with these red markers, and if you figure them out, any of them, you just comment right here at the bottom of the page, and we will add your contributions in the page itself with the help of an admin, and your name will be right here in the community contributions. There are a number of things to do here. For example, you might have had an issue with this device, or you might simply be someone that wants to just look and not print at anything, in which case we need to figure out the scalability of this device, or what parts in this device need to be store-bought and not 3D printed. These are unique to each of the device pages, as you will see later. How the admin work is done. Let's start off with the community submissions. Let's say we have somebody filling out a device adder form. Let's say we're gonna call this a test finger. We're gonna ignore as many things as we can. Minimum user needs we don't know. Mechanical or bionic, we're gonna call it mechanical. We don't want to note anything down because we don't know the maturity or the cost of the materials. We just created a prototype. Development status, experimental design, and that's... oh, we also need to complete a license. Let's say we're sharing it with a Creative Commons. We need the STL files, which we currently don't have such a link because we're just doing a mock-up. And let's skip everything else. And submit. Now, as an admin, you have access to this spreadsheet, and as you can see on line 16, this one was just created. The first step to adding the new device is getting a new ID. The ID is the ID of a new page. Let's go to devices, see all devices, and we're going to be adding a new page under all devices. Let's call it temporary finger. We're going to save it edit it, and here we have the ID number 533. okay, 533. Now what device category is this? We go back here, hit cancel, go back to the wiki, go under all devices, so under this page, and we have the finger devices. We need the ID of this particular page, that's 514. So we copy this one, and now we put the wiki page as 514, and the name of the link will be finger devices. The name is test finger. Alright, so now we have an ID. We need to add photos. Let's say you either receive some photos over the normal form, so you have them in the connected drive, or you have them somewhere separate. Okay, so you have to go to the e-NABLE drive, create a new folder with, let's say, the name testing finger. Then go inside it, put the photos that you've received from the drive connected right here, which are probably going to be right here somewhere. So basic file responses. These are in here you will find the devices themselves. Now in here we don't have any photos. Let's say we want to use the photos from FlexFinger. Now you cannot post these photos directly in the spreadsheet because they will not load properly. So in order to do that, you have to open a direct link converter. This is just one example. Right click, get link. We're gonna copy this link, get it through the link conversion, and you can notice this is view sharing, and this one is export download. This is the one that we need, and let's see if I can make this bigger. We're gonna go with exclamation point, open bracket, closed bracket, open bracket, and the link, and hit enter. Now those weird symbols are the markup for converting this to the image directly. And you need to do this for every single picture in here. There are a number of pictures throughout the entire sheet. Number one is the photo, which should be isometric, but it's not really. The second one is under photo of made device, so this is going to be in the maker section. Then we have another one under the engineering section with the schematic photos. Not everything has a schematic photo, and that is alright. And then we have most of them under media and media too. Let's say you have already added everything that you need. Pro tip: to scroll sideways instead of up and down, you need to keep shift pressed, and that way you can go really quickly instead of using this bar, which is not really as precise as we need it. So let's say this is already done and ready for implementation. We have it right here under all devices, and this is MathViz importer. We're refreshing the page, and there it is, the test finger. Click on import, and let's see if it's imported. And there it is, with all of the red markers with unknown functionalities. Now the next step is really just checking every single field and making sure that everything is rightfully converted. Sometimes people might be filling out these spaces with some weird text or putting bars where there shouldn't be. For example, this one shouldn't be a bar, this should be something properly filled. Okay, let's say we have an issue, for example with this bar right here, and we need to change the text of this specific device. We need to find the device right here, either through the page ID or the name of the device design. We need to find the specific place where this is happening. Here it's easy because it's a bar, so we can just control find that specific character, and we want to edit it. Now this is specifically for changing just this design. So let's say we want to use this as I have no idea. There you go. We want to wait for it to save. Okay. Now we can click on import, and we're refreshing the page to see that it's actually updated, and it is properly updated. Now if you want to modify the entire template, you're not going to modify the device from down here, but instead you're going to modify the five first layers. So we have the column titles, the item titles, item description, fillers, and placeholders. Now these are detailed in the device adder user guide down at the bottom with admin use. We have how the system works down in references, and this explains exactly what everything does and how things are printed on the final pages. If you want to modify them, you just need to modify one of these. To showcase it, we are going to modify the title of the right here. So instead of saying minimum user needs, this is using markup. This is what these stars are. We're going to mark it like this, as tester. In order to refresh all of the pages with the new setting, you have to import every single one again, and this will refresh every single page. In our case, we want to import this new template just in the test finger. Okay, it has not imported properly. Probably it hasn't been saved yet. We're gonna refresh Mesvi script, click on import again, and now let's refresh the page. And there you have it. We have changed that particular text that sits behind the device value. Let's undo this before we leave it like that. And that is how you can make test updates for every single device using this particular template. This does not work for the devices that don't use this template. So for example, if we go to all devices and the paraglider, this doesn't use the new template. As you can see, it's a really small page, doesn't really have a lot, because we're keeping this just as an archive. We are not using the device currently. And that is it. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps in your future admin work.